Hello and welcome to another episode of the Instant Impact Event Show. I am Cheryl Williams.
I'm CJ Williams. How are you today?
Awesome to have you guys.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, we are. We're working on staying a little warm today. We got a little
Yes,
fake
we got
out.
the fire going. Yes.
It's been warmer, and then we had some rain, and it's been a little cool. So we got to
Yes, we did our walk with our raincoats on.
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
Got it all.
People thought we were crazy. That's okay.
What's new?
That's right.
I don't really care what people think, but
That's right.
neither should you. But we were out there, and first
Doing
thing
our
this
thing.
morning, getting that walk in, even though it was raining and cold, and we've been out there many
windy.
times. And now you got to warm up the dry them all off and
Yeah, the
warm
heater's
ourselves
going.
back up. So, but speaking of warming ourselves up, we're gonna warm you guys up here real soon too with our topic today,
That's right.
which is
Go after what you want.
and burn the boats. Now, you've probably heard the analogy before, burn the boats. And what is that? It's back in years and years ago when people were going to war and they went on their boats. They knew that if their people had the option to retreat, they could if they still had the boats they came in, right? And so when they were looking to take over a territory or take over an island or push forward and acquire something new, they came up with the strategy to burn the boats, meaning that
no
their
way home.
people wouldn't be able to back up. The
Retreat.
only option
Yes.
was to move forward and take it, or someone was going to take you, because
That's right.
leaving, retreating, not moving forward wasn't an option.
No,
and so
it never is.
if that becomes, how many times in your life have you had the option of, we always told, you need to have a plan A and a plan B
and then
a
a
plan C.
C.
Because if A doesn't work out, well, then you can fall back, right?
Right. So you never give your full
Right.
on plan A because you know you can fall back on plan B.
And that having that fallback a lot of times is that safety net, right?
Right.
But there's nothing safe about it, knowing that, if this doesn't work out, then I'll just go back over here. Or, if this speaking thing doesn't work out, then I'll go
Right.
back to my old job. Or, hey, if I'm not
Yes.
able to have it, if this event's not a success for me, that's okay. I'll just go back to, over
Whatever
here.
I was doing,
Or maybe I'll just,
coaching in your
where I
little
was,
room.
right,
Yeah.
where I was comfortable, or where you've been before, or what you know. Normally it's those plan, the plan A is where you're wanting to go, what you're wanting to do currently and now. But when you and your mind know, and so your mind is everything, right?
That's right.
And when your mind knows,
It's
hey,
always talking to you.
it is. And when you're telling yourself, hey, if this doesn't work out, then I'll just do this. Well, that shouldn't even be in your vocabulary if this doesn't work out. Like, you need to go all in. You need to jump, not have, 1 foot over here and 1 foot
Right.
over here and your butt in the water. Or, I'm just going to try it out for a little bit and see how it is.
The universe knows also.
Yeah. And so, you want people conspiring, the universe, yourself, to work towards you and what
Correct.
you do want. Not, well, hey, if this doesn't work out, that's
Yeah,
okay.
Pass you up.
I'll go over here, right?
Correct.
So we want to show you what it looks like to burn your boat. So I want you to think of right now, what are you going after? What is it that you want? What are you,
Yes.
ready to go all in on?
All right, close that door behind you.
And how are you going to burn that boat? When we say burn the boat, it means there is no other option.
No.
This is it. You're
Right.
all in. You're full steam ahead. The train is moving. The boat has left the dock. You are in
Yes.
and on your way. Now, does that mean everything's going to be smooth sailing?
No, it's going to be a bumpy ride.
Of course not, right? There's going to be rough seas. There's going to be rough waters. There's going to be, bumps along the way. There's going to be times when you get, knocked off and you have to
Right.
get back on.
Yeah.
Nothing
And
is
get yourself
easy,
up.
right?
Not expecting a hand up either.
And nothing worth having, though, comes easy either. It's the journey. It's the
Yes.
fight. It's the constant getting up and continuing on.
And you're getting stronger
And
each
it makes
time you fall down.
It does. It makes you stronger. It makes you, and then it's also, if you know that you don't have any other options, this is it.
Yes.
Zero options mentality. That's something, when you're doing 75 hard, which we've done a few times, and Andy Frisell talks about all the time. There's zero options. Like, this is the only option. There are no other options, and that's the same thing on when you're burning the boats. There are no other options. You don't have another. Well, I could do this, or I might compromise on this over here and do this over here. Or I might not go fully on this
Or
over
doing
here.
your workout at midnight.
Right.
Because you didn't get it in those times that you needed to.
And again, no one else would know whether you are or not. And that's a lot of times in life, in business, no one knows whether you're doing what you say you're doing or what you need to be doing. You know, though, right?
Yes.
And so the same thing with going all in, you need to let everyone know what you're going after. Where are you? And sometimes you're going to have to leave people, things, areas,
Family.
locations, stuff behind because they're not on the path anymore with you.
No.
And that's okay, right? It's okay.
With support or without.
Right. You have to grow and change and evolve and adapt and move. You should not be staying the same or staying uncomfortable or what you've done before. So it's the easy thing to do.
Right. And then when people have a goal that they're attempting to reach, and then once they reach that goal, they're set.
Right.
But you always should be striving for more.
There's that next thing, right? 'Cause
Complacency, it's like, oh, well, I made it. Then you come to find out this is not all I want. I want more.
And each time you almost reach that goal, you're really, then you need to say, okay, well, I'm almost here.
Yes.
What now? What, right?
Yeah.
You should continue to level
Bigger
up.
and bigger
and
goals.
So, we've talked about
And
it
plans.
before. When you're hiking a mountain, you start out at one perspective. You see things from this level. But as you continue up, even 500 feet or...
Right, and you get close to that peak.
You're continuing it's a different vantage point. You're seeing things differently that you didn't see before because you're at a different level. So as you continue to move up, as you continue to level up, as your life continues to grow and advance,
And step up. Step
you
it up.
need to be raising the bar. You need to be challenging yourself at that level.
For everyone around you plus yourself.
So you have to continue to let everyone know this is where we're at now. This is what we're going for. This is where I'm at now. This is what I'm going after.
The bigger picture.
And when you about reach that, then you got to set that next bar and that next bar because you're never gonna get to that utopia, that final destination.
Correct.
That I'm good. I don't need to do anything else. I'm right because then you're stagnant, right? So either you're moving forward or you're moving backward. There is no staying the same.
No.
We're growing, evolving, changing, moving.
We're always moving.
Just like
We're
the seasons.
always.
Physically, we're always moving too.
That too.
Location-wise,
Locations,
we're
places,
always moving.
We're always moving.
Yeah, and the reason is because we don't want to go
Stay
stagnant.
No.
And so when we have those conversations, okay, where are
And
we?
then we know right away, do we want this or do we want this? Right away because we talked about it.
And
Talk, plan, and take action.
And sometimes we're like, oh, well, we want this. But then when we get down the path and we really sample that or taste that or experience that, it's like, okay, that's not exactly what we wanted. So we have to get more concise, more
Where
clear.
your hands go.
Okay, that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. That's
Farming
not a now.
life. Sorry.
That's not a now. But you have to continually be looking and asking yourself, okay, is this what I want? All right, I'm moving up. Okay, is this still what I want? Great.
Keep asking
and not that
over
you're
and
going
over
backward,
again.
but sometimes you don't know all that you want or what's available
Until
to
you get there.
or what you can have until you get a little bit closer. And then when you get a little bit closer, you need to be a little more concise.
Yes.
And then you can say, okay, well, I'm getting more of this, right?
Right, but
Do
I just
like
need
this?
a little tweak here and a little tweak there.
Right. And so, when you burn those boats, you're not retreating. You're not going backwards. You're constantly moving forward. So we're going to give you a little show of what it looks like to burn your boat. And while we're doing this, I want you to think of what do you need to light a match to, right?
Yes.
What do you need to burn down? What do you need to get rid of?
Yep,
what
put
do you
all
need
those
to turn
emotions into
into
it.
ash
Yes.
and let it go, right?
Right.
So here's our visual for today. We have this boat right here. And as we're burning this boat,
Burning all those
sometimes it takes
thoughts,
a minute to set it on fire too.
all those negativity, people pulling you down.
And a lot of times you do it to yourself. So
Yes.
as we're burning the boat, I want you to think about right now, what do you need to burn? What do you need to let go of? What
Yes.
do you need to not be able to fall back on? What's that safety net for you? What's that comfort zone? Where
does it look
is
like?
it for you? Know where that is. So where is it? What is it? We're gonna hopefully not set off the smoke detectors for our little analogy here. But
almost
as you
there.
can see, it's burning right in front of
Yes.
your eyes. And
And don't put it out either.
No.
Don't start and back out
And
of
then
it.
try to get your half-burned boat back, right?
No.
You got to let it fully burn. And so
Yes,
right here, as
to
you
a
can
crisp.
see, we could blow on it right now and put it out, but that's not the point. The
No.
point is you got to let it go. You got to
Till it's done.
You got to completely let it dissolve and not be something that you can then fall back on.
Right. That phone call, that ex who's pulling you down, none of that.
See, and then
Don't answer phone calls. Don't.
and today's topic isn't as much about and see, it's gone. Like it's ashes now. It's gonna continue to simmer and smolder a little bit,
Yep.
and that boat is gone, right? And so in your life, I want you to take some time right now to think about, what do you need to let go of? What do you need to burn? What do you need
Yes.
to know that you've continued to fall back on that safety net, that safe space, that comfort
Right.
zone,
Month
and
after
it's no
month.
longer serving you, right? And so not that you really need to light a match to it and turn it up a blaze, that
Don't
we're not
burn your house
suggesting
down.
that.
Yes,
It's
don't
an
burn your house
analogy,
down.
though,
And
of-
don't do this either.
No, we have a fire
Right.
extinguisher very close. So,
Yes, don't do
but
this.
again, think about that for a second for yourself. Is what is that for you, right? Where, and maybe you have a couple boats that you need to burn. Maybe you've
Yes.
got some relationship ones, or some. Maybe you're in business. and
Business partners.
You're not. That's not where you should be. Or maybe you've kept yourself held down into a location or a
Right. That you thought you were going to be at forever.
and that you've outgrown, that it's no longer serving you, it's not
No.
challenging you anymore, and it's
No.
time to burn that and let it go, right? And so
Correct.
then once that is gone, we no longer have something that we can jump back into and paddle
Mm-hmm.
away at, right? No one's coming to save us. You don't
No.
have any a structure or something for you to go. So then
Right.
all
Don't depend on the government.
the only
to help.
thing that you have the ability to do now is to move forward.
Yes.
That's it.
And to plan.
And in order to do that, you got to get clear on what do you want, right? And not, well, someone said this would be I think that's a good idea. No, it's
what's
like,
good to you.
what do you want? What are you going after? Where are
Not
you
what you
wanting
heard.
to go? And this has to be, because when all the cheerleaders and the people in the beginning are like, yeah, that's a great idea, rah rah, they're
Yeah.
little pom poms are cheering for you. As the days turn into weeks and weeks turn into months and months turn into years, they're not going to be there cheering you on anymore.
No.
So this
They
has
weren't
to
there
be,
in the first place.
This has to be something that you want. That when no one else is watching, no one else is looking, no one else knows what you're doing, you are moving forward on that, because that's the commitment that you
Yes.
made to yourself, right? That is the thing that you set out to do, so that like we talked about, when we said we're doing 75 hard, that's 2 workouts a day. Well, sometimes if you don't prioritize, or if you've got a busy day, or some days, they don't go as planned, you might be doing that workout at midnight.
Yes.
Right?
Or drinking that water right before bed.
Because
you're drinking a gallon.
there's all these different things, and in your business too, it's like there's going to be hard times. There's going to be it's not all cute and fun and
No.
fancy and what people see or what people portray on the outside. It's the
Or online.
It's the getting up early. It's the staying up late. It's the solving challenges. It's
Yes.
the beating your head against the wall of, how am I going to do this?
It's
Where
also
am I going to
planning
go?
on Sundays. It's also planning and writing out what you want.
And then, when, sometimes you feel like, you're going you're going to step forward and 2 steps back. Maybe you're taking 3 steps forward and you're going 4 steps back. It's like, though, you're continuing to push. You're continuing to move, because you're all in on where you're going. You know what you want. You have clarity.
Yes.
You've made a decision, and you're going. No matter what anyone else says, does, no matter what happens in the world or doesn't, no matter, if it's rainy or sunny, if it's, hot or cold,
Yes.
if you feel like it or not. And here, that's the kicker, right?
Right.
A lot
Especially
of times,
when you don't.
in the beginning, it's like, yeah, you're motivated, right? But
Yes.
motivation wanes. Motivation leaves, and you're
Then
left.
goes bye-bye.
You're left with
Just you.
you. And you're left with, the rah-rah is gone, the excitement is gone, the newness is
The
gone,
cheerleaders are gone.
and the monotony and routine has set in.
Yes.
And when that happens, that's when shit gets real, right? That's when it's like, okay,
Pull those covers off.
I said I want this.
Yep.
No one's here cheering me on anymore. I'm not motivated to go after this anymore.
I don't want to get up.
But I've made this commitment to myself, and to the people around me that this is where I'm going. This is what we're doing as a team, as a business,
Yes.
as a collective, as a
Yes.
whole. I don't know what you're working on in your life, what your family relationships are, or what your business relationships are, or where everyone's in a different place, right?
Correct.
So whatever that is for you, maybe you decide, you know what, you want to change careers. Maybe you want to change things around. Maybe you want to do more of what you've done, but change how you're doing it. Maybe you want to make some
Right.
changes in your life. Maybe
you built a tribe around you to even guide you and help together,
right,
as a team.
Or maybe you're looking around and saying, these people that are around me right now are not the people I need to be around. So then you gotta change who
Pulling
you're
you
around,
down.
right? And so,
Crabs in a barrel.
and sometimes they are crabs in a barrel, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes though, they're headed one way and you're headed another, and there's no right or wrong. It's just they're on this path and you're on this
Right.
path, and you need to focus on people who are more on this path where you're going now, because you become like the people you surround yourself with. And so
Correct.
if you're working on something new or something different, find
Yeah, it's
people
not gonna
who
mesh
are
well.
on the same path as you. Find people who are even ahead of the path, who can
Yes.
kind of tell you, hey, look
And
out for
guide
this
you
roadblock.
along, right, by listening to them, watching them,
Look
doing
out-
what they do.
Look out for this challenge, or hey,
Yes.
when you're a couple years in, this is the next thing to look
It'll
for.
help you so much so you don't go through the same things.
And you don't want to just continue down the same path. You want to create your own path, but also look for people who can help you along that journey as well.
Yes.
Saying maybe it's your fitness, maybe it's your nutrition, maybe it's your mindset, maybe it's your spirituality. Whatever those things are, wherever you're at, it's different for everyone. Everyone's different.
Yes.
Everyone's unique. Everyone's perspective changes. And as you go along, as you grow, as you get older, the more things you experience, the different perspectives that you have. And so sometimes something you believed, one day, a few years ago, or even a few months ago, is not who you are, or what you believe, or what you want now.
But you always have to ask yourself, what do you want? So you can answer those questions. Because if you don't answer those questions for yourself, you'll never make those changes. You'll never take a different step because you never asked yourself what you want.
And a lot of times, it's not just asking yourself one time, what do you want? Because then you
No,
get
it's a
surface
constant.
level. You get, well, I want,
No, but ask again. What do I really
Yep.
want?
You've got to peel back the layers, kind of like an onion, right? You've got to take the different layers off and really get down to the core of what it is that you want. Because if you just ask yourself what I want, like, oh, well, I want a bright
I want a steak
sunshiny
dinner.
day, or hey,
Yeah.
I want to make $1 million, or
Right.
I want to
How
speak
are you
in
gonna
front
get that?
of 1 million people, or 1,000 people, or an arena, or I want to have one event a week, or whatever whatever those things are.
Correct.
But when it comes down to it, what is it that you really want? And then when you can tie that
And
to
backtrack.
a feeling, a result, an opportunity, something that you really want. It's not just surface level BS, right? Like, oh, I just, I want world peace. It's like, that's not really what you want.
You gotta ask yourself again,
You want the
and again,
result.
and
Like,
again.
what is it out of that you want, right? So we want to not. You don't want to just continue to give yourself lip service.
No.
You actually want to continue on and get down to the root of that, right? And that's why we talk about, a lot of times with clients that we're working with, they want to make money, right? Obviously, we all need to make money. We all are normally in business to make money. You need money for everything around.
Right.
However,
and also to make it look better
yeah.
and the feel.
But at the end of the day, you want to create the biggest impact that you can make, right?
Right,
By
not the
having
least.
your event, you want to create the biggest ripple effect, right? You want to create the
Yes.
biggest impact, the biggest something for them when they leave your event. It's like,
You want them to remember that.
this is something I'm going to remember this one. So then, they go
So they
back
come
home
again.
and they talk about it. They talk about it to other people, and it's like, wow, or 6 months from now, or a year from now, 5 years from now, they're still talking about your event because of the impact that you created at your
Yes.
event. And so, and by creating an impact, right? When you change people's lives,
Yes.
the money comes. So it's not leading with, well, I want to make X amount of dollars, right?
No,
It's
how many people are you going to impact
how much
at that
value
time?
can you provide? How big of an impact can you create? Where,
Yes.
where's that value coming in? And then once it's just like anything. It's like, how do you know how much you're paying for anything? It's, well, this is worth this to me. So you make an exchange, right? It's a value exchange. You're getting something over here for something over here. Well, the same thing at your event. It's like you're giving enough value. You're creating enough value that what you're asking for in exchange, people are glad and happy to give you.
Yes.
So you've got to kind of shift how you're looking at things. It's not just about, I want to make, $1 million, or I want to make, I want to make six figures, or whatever those things are. Then we've got to drill down further, because it's not just a value. It's not just money, right?
No.
It's not just a dollar. It's a value exchange. So what type of value are you providing or bringing to the table or giving someone that value exchange makes sense, and it continues to happen again and again and again, right? A lot of people are looking at it from the wrong angle. It's not, well, how can I make money? It's how can I provide enough value that the money flows. The money
flows
comes
on its
from
own.
that.
Right. You're not just sitting there, oh, I made this much from one client and this much from another. No. It's a cycle.
And you
It's
wanna look at-
rolling downhill.
Yeah, and it's a relationship, right? You're looking at the long term, the longevity of a not just a one-time transaction.
Yeah.
You're
One time, see
creating
you later. Doesn't work that way.
a long-term relationship, because over the course of the relationship, there's going to be multiple times and opportunities for value exchange, right? And so
Yes.
when you look at it not as a transaction, but as a relationship and as a value exchange, then you start looking at things differently too. And so we know a lot of times, like, people are, we're talking, what do you want? I just want, I want to make more money, or I want to not have to, do this, or I don't want to have to, exchange my hours for dollars. Well, then we start looking, okay, so what value are you going to provide to create that? And it
Domino effect.
It does.
Yes.
It really starts, gets the ball rolling on that. So that's a lot of times as people are thinking of, like, oh, I want to
Yes.
make more money,
Or I want this kind of car.
or I want, and the other thing is too, a lot of times,
guys.
like, what do I want? I want, a successful business, right? I want to be more charitable. I want all of, fill in the blank. But you have to be more specific on what that is, right?
Right.
Because
And the numbers.
when you're just ambiguous, it's like, well, maybe I got it, maybe I didn't. I want more money. Well, if I gave you $1, right, you have
Yes,
more
you
money, right?
got it.
Or, I don't want to work 9 to 5, so at a job for someone else, I want to work for myself. So you want to become an
Right.
entrepreneur. Well, at that point, you're working from 6 a.m. in the evening or in the morning until
Till 9 at night.
midnight
Yep.
each night, right? So you've got to
just
be
doing it for
more
yourself.
clear on what that is, and not that there's a right or a wrong.
Right.
It's what do you want right here, right now.
And how are you going to get there?
And you've got to give yourself time, right? We're in this instant gratification.
not gonna be-
instant. I want it now, right? Well, you've got to put in the work continually, because then when you continually
Day
put in
in,
the work,
day out.
you get the momentum.
Yes, you have to build it.
Nothing that you truly want comes overnight. And so you've got to put in the work. And that's why when you say, what do you want? You better really want it, because
Yes.
it's going to take a lot of effort, time, energy, dedication, ups and
Right.
downs. And so you've got to really want it and be able to put in the work to
Correct.
really get what you want, because you'll get it. It might not be as fast as you thought, right? It
And
might
you got to
not be.
get rid of.
What?
Get rid of everything. All that stuff. All that
Figuratively.
baggage. Get rid of
Burn
that
it.
baggage. And clear your house too.
I feel like we just saged the
Burn
house
it.
that we had over
Yes.
here. Wasn't sage, but
Yeah.
it might have been good.
Do this first.
You've
Get rid of
also
the baggage.
you've got to get rid of the baggage. You got to let it go. You got to, so that way you have a clean slate, right, to move forward on. When you have a clean piece of paper, a clean sheet, then you can say, these are the things I want, and then you can say, okay, well, why do I want those? And you can
Yes.
start really drilling down. And the other thing is, people get stuck in analysis paralysis. They get stuck in procrastination, right? So it's like, well, I want these things, but you know what? Maybe I need to drill down on that a little bit more. Or,
Yes.
maybe I need to take some time and I need to go on a venture and really, clear my head and decide, is this really what
Now
I
you're just
want?
wasting time.
I need to write this down. I need to pray about it. I need to ask. I need to wait for insight. I need to, talk to someone else about it. I need to really research.
That's all excuses.
I need to, get online and sit down.
Excuse number 10.
And I need to have 10 courses
Mm-hmm.
and read 5 books. And I then need to go to this event and this course. I need to talk to this guru.
Then it's 2 years later.
Then I gotta, shoot. Then you're, by the time you get there and the 2 years has happened, it's like, well, crap. I don't want this anymore.
No.
Right? And nothing happened because
Yeah.
you did all these things.
Now you're in
And
another
so
place.
that's where you have to move with purpose, right? You have to get some action. So
Yeah, get your ass in gear.
that's really what it is. You got to put the pedal to the metal, you got to put your foot on the gas, and you got to go, right?
Yes.
And there's going to be time to think about it later, but the easiest way to get it is just to move, to go, Like, I burned this crap behind me, it's done. Okay, great.
Yes.
This is what I want. We're moving, right? And so when you're moving down the path, and then you're like, okay,
Let's go.
even when like on our walk, pretend like, okay, we're out there
going.
walking, right? We're walking, we're going. And we're like, this is where we're at today. You know, how's it going, right?
It's going.
It's like,
Yeah.
is this, we check in, are
Yeah,
we good?
We're good.
Oh,
We're good. We can go faster.
we're like, okay. So then we get to the next thing. We're like, oh, we're over here. We're like, we got to go left or we got to go right. And it's like, oh, I thought we were
Right.
going to go straight. I'm like, nope,
No.
not anymore. We got to decide left or right.
So
then
make a
you-
discussion.
So then you have powwow.
Do a discussion.
Right?
And then
left. Okay,
Yes.
so then you keep going, right? And so while you're on the path, more things will be revealed, right?
Correct.
It's we talk all the time, the
it's like,
roadmap,
oh,
right?
things will
There's-
open up.
There's multiple ways of getting where you want to go, but you got to at least get going, right? Because then who knows? Have you ever had it when you put in, you don't use like maps anymore, but
No,
you put
the
in your
phone.
phone where you want to go or your GPS and you say you're going to go here to here. Well, there's 3 different ways to get there. You got the fastest, you got the longest, and you got the,
Medium.
the less turn, like the one with
Yes.
the less turn. That's usually what they
Yes.
give you. Okay. So I'm like, oh, I want the fastest.
Always.
Oh boy, buckle
Yeah.
up. Okay, so you buckle in and you're on the way. But then a thing pops up and it's like, crap.
Accident.
There's an accident. You're gonna have to take a detour. Shit.
Yes.
I wasn't planning on a detour. So then you gotta come
Right.
over here.
And then the detour is not going to show up right away because then you're stuck until it finds the other place, the other way.
Hopefully you're not.
And you have service, so now you don't know where you're going.
Hopefully you're not stuck in a
happens to
cornfield
us every
because we've had that happen before.
It happens. Oh, no service.
When we were RVing across the country,
Oh, man.
and this happened to us. We had to really figure out where we were going to go. And he was the driver, and I was the
42-foot
I was
fifth
the
wheel in the
road
back.
map connoisseur. Like I was like, okay, we're
Yes.
not going to go this way because there's too short of bridges, or
Yes.
we're not going to go this way because that's a really old town and it's.
Then you get smarter from doing all the craziness of are we going to fit through a bridge? The truckers' maps.
So then we started using the trucker routes. Okay.
So that
Well,
helps
except
for distance.
sometimes we were going to a lot
Now
of
the
national.
detour.
We were going to a lot of national parks, and truckers
lot.
don't go to a lot of national parks. So then you got to like, okay, hopefully this path is
Detour.
going to work. So one time we're up in Ohio, and again he said a 42-foot rig. This thing was 13 and a half feet tall. We had to have that much
Yes.
clearance. On a good day, the tires were inflated. We're going right. So then it said we were.
Tires inflated?
The tire pressure can make the RV go up or down. Like if it's really good, it adds an inch. I mean, it's like it just happens. Don't you know this stuff? You never know. It's like sometimes, oh Lord, did we clear it? We did. Okay, no crashes. Okay, no, we didn't hear any.
And I'm good at slamming those brakes too. If I don't think I'm a fit, way before. I'm not gonna put on my brakes after we cross.
No.
I'm putting on my brakes before
So-
if I'm not sure.
Back to the story. We were almost to our destination. It was
Yes, getting dark.
The sun was starting to set. You know how beautiful time of night. It's like okay, that golden hour. It was great. So we're getting close, but then there was a detour, and I think we were only like 20 miles from
We're
where
close.
we weren't very far, right? From where we
Even
needed
less.
to be. And it took us on this detour, and we were fine with the detour, but it kept detouring us. It never gave us like a straight path. Sometimes it's like and there wasn't a lot of cell reception, so it's like calculating route, rerouting. And every time we come to a road, it would say rerouting. And sometimes we'd look down the road and be like, well, that's a dirt road. That's a no. Until we keep going. And finally, it got us to a road
Nice.
that
Long
looked
road.
decent. Okay, so we're like, all right, well, it says we can go this way. I mean, here we go.
It's the forest, a road, cornfield.
Nah,
Yeah.
but there was no corn. It was heading in, the corn had
They cut
already
it.
been
Been
cut.
cut.
And so, and it was getting, the light starts changing at that time. So it looked like a decent road. So we make the right turn to go down this road. And we went, what do you think, 100 yards?
Yes.
Okay,
More.
so we go maybe 100, 150 yards. Maybe it was because it was a ways down. Okay, maybe probably that's 3 football fields, maybe 4. Maybe we went 3 or 4 football fields, 150, 200 yards, whatever it was. We get down there, and as we come around a bend,
The bend.
I was like, stop!
The bridge was like that small.
There was a bridge that was in front of us, and it was not an open bridge. It was one of those short,
Right, cut
covered,
off.
but it wasn't
roof
completely
bridge.
enclosed. But it had, the stuff.
It was about what, 8 feet? 8,
Well,
10?
I didn't need a sign to tell me we weren't going to fit. So we're down, and it's a very narrow road that we're on. Now, it's not like a lot of traffic's coming down this road or anything. But we couldn't go forward anymore because we
Yes.
weren't going to fit.
So I back up a little bit,
So-
and I'm like, I'm not going to back up all the way.
And it wasn't a straight road. A little windy. There was a creek off to one side, straight down. It wasn't a river, it was a creek. And then empty cornfields off to the other. So we started backing up somewhere. He backed up, I was just watching. And it wasn't working. The butt was turning one way, the front was going another. We didn't want to fall in the creek. So then the famous words were said. How about, and who said these words? How about we'll just
Do a U.
We'll just flip a U in the cornfield. Sounds good. Okay. Here we go. So we got the kids in the back,
So the pickup goes,
and it goes
and it's fine.
off the road. No,
the
it didn't.
pickup
No, it
was,
didn't.
the pickup truck was fine. But when it got to the back,
No. One tire got in.
we
The
were
other
way
tire
in. We
got
were way in.
We were fine. But as the truck continued to go in, and we started getting the third wheel in, we sunk.
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
Because of all the weight,
And the
hindsight.
fifth wheel is right in the back.
And the fifth wheel was what, 14,000 pounds
It
or
was a lot of
something?
pounds, yes.
So then we attempt
That's all
to,
our shit we had in it. So it was about 16
we attempted to put it in reverse, and all we were doing was digging a bigger
wheels.
hole. It
I
was
jumped
going nowhere.
out and I grabbed every corn stalk I could. 100?
Well, what had happened, so, of course,
Nonstop.
we get out
putting it
and
under
we're
the
attempting
tire.
to fix this challenge. As
The kids are crying and
No,
screaming.
this is not right away. We had been going at this for now 5, 10, 15 minutes, and they'd figured out we're stuck. It's starting to get dark. We're going nowhere. The RV, the fifth wheel, is cocked because the truck was in partially,
So
and
this-
so the weight, it was in the back
was
of
like
the truck.
this.
And so it
was
was
just like that.
tilted. And it was not a good situation. So we were running around, just bloodied up our hands, trying to stick stuff under there.
Yeah, and it was mud.
Yeah.
It wasn't dirt. It wasn't hard. It was mud.
And apparently it had been raining a lot there recently. And so there was no hard ground. It was all soft. And so when the tires spun, even if we spun them forward, backward, four wheel, it didn't matter. We were going nowhere. Actually, we were getting worse in the hole. So then we had someone come by and they're like, hey, maybe we can pull you out. I'm like, oh, please.
Thank God.
So we waited and they came by and it didn't work.
They left and came back with a ATV of some sort.
To pull us out. That didn't
Yes.
work. So
No.
then someone else came by and they're like, hey.
Young kid.
Yeah,
It was
he was
cold
really-
as hell, and he had a little t-shirt and
He had little
shorts.
shorts and boots, cowboy
Yeah.
boots. Really helpful. And what we decided is that we needed to be pulled out the opposite way.
Like back.
We need to pull it by the trailer instead of pulling it by the truck. And so finally, that did work. But then we were back to square one again. We were out of the cornfield. We weren't stuck anymore. We
Right.
had done a little bit of damage to the tires, like they were muddy and a mess. Because the fifth wheel had been cocked so much, the water tank on it had gone everywhere. And later on, we find out that water had spilt in the back, in the kitchen, and it was a mess. But that was the least of our concerns at the time. So as it's now getting dark, because it had been about an hour and a half of this whole fiasco had started happening, we then have to do what we didn't want to do in the first place, which was
Let's back up.
back
3 football
out.
fields.
So he was backing up, and I was just telling him this way, that way, and it felt like we were going
forever.
millimeter by. It wasn't even inch by inch. It was the longest road that turn, and you just kept seeing the cornfield. Don't go there, and then the nice drop off to the creek.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, if we
With
can just.
kids were crying and
Well,
screaming
at
the
least
whole
we
time
weren't stuck
until we
because
got
they
out.
thought, I don't know, thought we were going to live in the cornfield. For the
Right,
rest
so
of
I
our
can't
lives.
say the word cornfield without them freaking out.
No. So still to this day, if we drive by
A cornfield, and I say I'm going that
cornfield,
way.
they scream. Like, that's all you have to say nowadays to them is cornfield, and they freak out.
Yes. And then we got there and it was closed.
Oh yeah, we found
And
that.
then,
It was dark.
but
It
somebody
a whole
was
thing.
living there, so took another 20 minutes.
The whole point is, the point of the story is, sometimes when you're on a path and you're continuing to go, things are going to come up. Road work, detours, car accidents. Maybe you decide, hey, I want to take the scenic route. Whatever it is, and things you're going to have to, it's not going to be the straight and narrow. Sometimes you gotta take the bend. You gotta take the bend. You know, you gotta work with it here. Okay. Sometimes that's what you gotta do. You've gotta continue to move, and then not be, well, what if this happens? What if don't you cross that bridge? Get it? Cross that bridge, or don't when you get to it.
At least you can get across.
So you might cross it, you might not. But when you get to that bridge, that's when you figure out, okay, this is not going to work. We need to back up, and we need to go this way, right?
And keep backing up. Don't make a turn.
Yeah, don't go in the cornfield. Don't go in the creek. And
No.
if you can't fit across the bridge, well, definitely don't go across the bridge, right?
No.
That's a no-no.
No.
But what you figure out is you don't need to know everything before you get started. You need to know where you want to go, and then you've got to figure out how you want to get there.
And we didn't know anything about RVing.
No,
No.
we didn't.
And it was our second.
No, our second. We bought our first.
We bought our first, and we were on our second within 6 months.
Yep, because we decided to upgrade it. And here's the thing, though. If we would have
Upgrade ya.
started at the
Upgrade ya.
42-foot fifth wheel when we first started,
No way.
there's no way we would have done it.
No.
So when we started with the
trailer,
the
lightweight 32.
the lightweight
30-something.
32-foot trailer, we
learned
got
a
going,
lot in 6 months.
right?
Yes.
We didn't know about tanks
gas,
and
the water heater,
gray and black and all
gray
kinds,
and black,
like
and
the water.
They show you when you're getting it. They show, well, this is that and this is that. Do you remember that stuff? Nope.
When it's freezing out and
And we had ice storm.
children are cold and it's
first
time
day.
for bed and you can't figure out how to turn the heat on, that conversation that they told you, flip a switch here and do the thing here.
And I don't even think they told us that
No,
part
they
with the
didn't,
water
because
heater.
it was still off. But anyways, we digress. So
Yes.
the moral to our story here
Yes,
is...
we're getting to it.
Yeah, the moral is you got to get going. Things might come up, roadblocks, challenges, road
Yes,
work,
after-
construction,
Day after day.
whatever. Rain might
It's going
come.
to be something different each day.
You still keep going. And then once you get to that spot, then you figure out, okay, am I going around? Am I going under? Am I going over?
Am I going through?
You're not going backwards, like back to safety
No.
though, right? Sometimes you need to back up and get on maybe you took that bend and you're like, I need to go over here. So you course correct all the time. But the main thing is when you're all in, when you're going after what you want, when you have no other options, there is no plan B, C,
Nope.
D, all the way to Z.
Nope.
When you don't have that, well, I'm gonna get out there and start speaking now, but if not, I'll go back to my job, right?
No.
When you
Burn that bridge.
have that
Burn it.
fallback, you always know you can fall back, right?
Burn the boat.
Versus it's not available. I burnt it. It's gone.
Yes. You told them I'm never coming back.
And you don't have to be nasty about it, but just
Right.
you
And
say
they offered,
you say
but
no.
you was like, no.
No, this is where I'm going. This is what I'm doing.
Thank
and that's
you.
why you have to make
Yes.
sure you're all in on and really going after what you want, because it's going to take a while to get there, because the road is going to have some bumps. You're going to get some bruises. You're going to, you're
Yep.
going to have some
Get some
falls.
bandage.
That's okay. We keep moving. So if there's one thing that you can learn from this conversation today,
Just don't bring your house down. And
don't use matches like we did. Burn your boat
imaginary.
figuratively,
Yes.
whatever boat that is for you. And maybe you have a few. Maybe you've got a whole fleet of them, right? Maybe
Yes,
you've got
just-
them just lined up at all these different docks and you need to just
Yes.
start letting them go, right? And so,
And you're going to have relief. You're going to feel that tension disappear a little more.
yeah. And when you're listening or watching to this, it's very easy to, okay, I'm going to go to the next one now. I want to go to the next one. Oh, what's the next thing I'm going to watch or listen to? Or, hey, I got to do this or that. If you listen to this and you don't take action on this, then you
it's
just
for
wasted
naught.
your time, right?
Don't
So
waste your time.
Don't waste your time. Time is valuable, right? It's something that we all have the same amount of, and yet the value that we put on it is where you get, right? So take some time to figure out, what do you really want? Where are you going? What boats do you need to burn? And how are you going to continue to move forward on where you want to go? Because there is no alternative. There is no other option. There is no, something else for you to go to, because you're now clear on where you're going.
Correct.
All righty.
All right.
Smoke alarms didn't go off. We got
No.
a good story in.
Yes.
And now we're giving you guys some action steps of where you need to go, right? If nothing changes,
those
nothing
questions.
changes. If you don't take what you've learned today and put it into action, then you're going to be at the same place tomorrow, next week, and next year, right? So we're here, we're sharing with you guys as to where it is that you can go. Now you've got to pick it up and you've got to run with it, right? We can't do it for you.
Nope.
So this is the part where, you know, this show is coming to a close, and now it's your turn, right? It's
Correct.
time for you to step up and for you to get going with that. Grab that baton and get running. And then, you know, let us know in the comments through, you know, messages. Let us know, like, what boats are you burning, right?
Yes.
What have you said,
Send us
say
that
la vie to? And what are you going all in on? What is it that you want and you're moving forward? We love hearing that, right? Because then
love hearing from you.
That's one, holding yourself accountable. You're putting it out there, right? These are the things I'm doing. You know, you don't always want to do everything in darkness, right? You want to let it out into the light, right? You want to give it some light of day of, hey, this is what I'm burning. This is where I'm going. This is what I'm all in on. And let us know, and let other people know too, because then that accountability is there too. You're not just keeping it to yourself.
Be on you.
You're not just hiding it over here like, oh, okay, I'm just going to kind of work on this.
They'll give you that call or text. Yep. How's it going?
Now, don't expect them to be your accountability, though. But because you've put it out there, you're more accountable to yourself because you know other people know.
Yes.
So let us know, and, you know, take the time.
It'll be great to hear from you.
Right now, we love hearing from you guys. We do have, you know, these episodes where we go over specific topics. Then we also have our Q&A episodes as well. So if you have any questions regarding this topic or anything else, let us know. Shoot us over a message, and we can maybe pop that on our next Q&A episode that we have. In the meantime, remember, guys, it only takes an instant to make an impact. Bye.